All right, so we've got our sphere drawn. I've already done a video where I taught you how to draw this sphere. You'll want to check that out first. But once you've got your sphere and you want to add some lines that make it look like a basketball, here's what you're going to want to do. Before we actually get started with this, I'm going to show you kind of some ideas real quick that will make more sense of this. So if you've got and let's pretend this is a sphere. If you've got a sphere and you've got some basketball lines, if you actually look at a basketball close, you'll see that there are three major lines that go around a basketball. There are basically two circles, and they're going to appear as ellipses. So there are two circles like this. And then there's a third line that is kind of like a bean-shaped line that goes around the ball. And so if I'm going to put these lines on a basketball, you'll only see half of the ellipse here. And then I could put the cross of these two lines, where these two lines right in the middle, where these two lines cross, but I rather offset that. And the purpose for that is that if I offset these lines, it'll look like the sphere is in motion, or the ball is in motion. It'll look a little bit more interesting that way. Okay, so two ellipses or half ellipses. If I was to draw the whole ellipse, which I could, it would look like that through the back of the ball. See? But we cannot see through this basketball. That would be a cool basketball. But I don't have one of those. All right, we've got a ball like this. And then I've got to add that bean line. And that bean line is a little more tricky. But I could choose to orient it going around this way or the other way, but I'm going to put it this way. And so this is the beginning of a bean. And since the ball is kind of turned this way, I'm going to see a lot more of this kind of curve of this bean. It should come like this. And then the other side of that bean comes over here on the ball, and I'm not going to see very much of that, but just a little piece of that bean there. That's very rough, but that's kind of how I would put a ball in motion, by off-centering that. It starts with two ellipses, and then I complete that with kind of this strange bean shape. So I'm going to put that on my sphere now. So here we go. Got my sphere. I'll let the ellipses come this way. I'm just going to lightly sketch this in there, and then I'll add some thickness to that line, because most basketballs have some thickness to that line that goes around, or those lines. Maybe I'll let these two cross up here this time. So that first step is the most keys. The first two steps is getting these two ellipse shapes crossing, just like that. They should cross kind of like an X there in the middle. Like I said, I like to offset them. I don't like to put that right in the middle. I could, and when most people draw basketballs, that's how they do it, but I think that's less interesting. Another way to add movement to this ball, maybe like it was bouncing in the air, would be to put the cast shadow several inches or a ways below this ball, and that would look like it was in the air. The way this cast shadow is connected to the ball makes it look like it's on the ground. So this bean shape, this is the side of the ball I see the most of, so this is where I see the most of this bean shape as well. It's not perfect, but it's all right. And I have some wiggle room to fix kind of up the edges here a little bit right now, because I'm going to add thickness to this line later. This side of the bean I don't hardly see any of. Okay, now that I've got that on there, I'm going to add some thickness to this bean shape, and hopefully that makes it look like a real basketball. I have zero ability to play basketball, but I can draw the heck out of one. Alright, I'm pretty sloppy with these lines, so I'll clean that up real quick. You see my curve is a little off there. Fix it just a little bit. At this point, I can't really erase unless I want to reshade that sphere, but that's something I don't want to go back and do. So I am just trying to be very careful. To only screw up semi-bad at this point. It doesn't need to be perfect. All right, well, there you go. It's a basketball for you. I hope you give this a try. Like I said, there is the sphere drawing video, as well as this basketball line drawing video. If you want to draw the sphere first, it makes this basketball look a lot better with all that shading. Like a realistic sphere. And add those lines to it. There you have it. All right, give it a try. I'd like to know how it works out.